What's up, movie chatters? Welcome back to After Credit Movie Chats, your place for movie news and reviews from fans, not critics. Welcome to our brand new segment, which I'm simply calling Rewind Reviews. I came up with a little bit of a solution as to I can't exactly afford to go to every movie coming out in theaters right now, so I thought I would instead review movies that have already come out, most likely on DVD from either this past year and who knows, 20 years ago. This idea all started when I started tweeting out at the end of every week the movies I'd seen in the past week. So what I thought I would do is I would review those however many movies, anywhere from like 3 to 7 a week, that I'd watched, and give a review to you guys. Simply if you maybe seen the movie, just want another review just to talk about them, or you hadn't seen the movie and now you're going to because of this review. I've watched 6 movies this week that are a wide variety that I'd like to review for you guys. The list is 22 Jump Street, Captain America the Winter Soldier, The Crow, Die Hard, Slow West, and Southpaw. Let's start with 22 Jump Street. 22 Jump Street is the follow-up and the sequel to the surprise hit 21 Jump Street that was just absolutely hilarious. Now, I found this movie just on Stars, and when you see it on, it's just something you have to watch, and it makes me laugh every time. Just how self-aware this movie is of itself. That scene where Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum are sitting in the police captain's office, played by the hilarious Nick Offerman, and they make euphemisms from the police station and use that as the studio, and just some of the remarks they make are absolutely hilarious. This movie is one I cannot highly recommend enough, and every time I see it on TV, I just stop and watch at least a part of it just to get a few laughs. So 22 Jump Street for me is a 7 out of 10. Where 21 Jump Street was probably about an 8, for a comedy sequel this thing knocked it out of the park, which is quite rare. So 22 Jump Street is a 7 out of 10. Up next is Captain America the Winter Soldier. So far, my absolute favorite movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The way the action is, the music is, the acting, the story, the subgenre that is a political thriller, everything is just absolutely amazing. Every time I see it on TV, I just stop and watch at least a few scenes. One of them being the car chase scene involving Nick Fury, Sam Jackson, and then the fight on the highway scene where you finally are introduced to the Winter Soldier. The fight choreography and stunt choreography in that scene is absolutely amazing. And since I hadn't seen the movie in a whole month or so, I decided to watch the whole thing a couple days ago, and it just still blows my mind, and I can't get enough of it. Captain America Winter Soldier to me is a 9 out of 10. Just blows everything else out of the water. Up next is one I had heard gotten recommended to me quite a few times. It's The Crow. 1994's The Crow, a comic book movie, very dark and gothic in tone. And I just say I really enjoyed it. Now, you can look up all sorts of things with the reboots they tried to do with this movie, and they're just a curse on this. They cannot get it off the ground, not to mention all the things problems they had on set with it back in '94, where actor Brandon Lee, the main actor who plays the Crow, actually suffered a tragic accident and died on set before filming was even completed. But what they did get was an awful lot, and I have to obviously like the movie so much because it's based in Detroit, so my home state of Michigan. But the movie is based on, if you don't know, the comic book that sets a man and his wife are murdered, and he is revived by this kind of magical crow, and he doesn't know what, but he sets out a revenge streak against those who killed him and his wife. And he takes on the crow as the bird follows him around, and he can see through the crow's eyes, and it kind of becomes his symbol. It is a gritty action movie, very dark gothic in tone, and I can't help but notice quite a few similarities between it, some of the influences it probably had in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight from Brandon Lee's look as the Crow, and just some lines and the tone set by it. I would highly recommend watching this movie on Netflix. It's not even 2 hours long, and The Crow for me is a 7 out of 10. Up next is the massive hit, and one of the movies that put Bruce Willis on the map, Die Hard, the 80s action movie that took it to a new level. Die Hard follows John McClane and one of the best movie villains we've seen in Hans Gruber, where Hans Gruber takes over a massive new building that Bruce Willis's estranged wife runs, and he just happens to be caught in the mix. And from there, a ton of absolutely awesomely directed action takes place. The story is simple and great, and this movie you can really see the influence it had on the action genre all the way up till today. Die Hard for me is a 9 out of 10. Next up is an independent movie that maybe not a lot of you guys heard of, in Southwest, starring Cody Smith-McPhee and Michael Fassbender. As the title may imply, it's a Western movie, and I have to say I really, really enjoyed it. I'm a fan of anything out in the West. For whatever reason, that Southwest feeling really gets me, and this one played on that. The way it's filmed and directed is absolutely great. Michael Fassbender, the guy is just absolutely outstanding. Now, Cody Smith-McPhee is an actor that, for whatever reason, I can't really get behind. I don't like him, I don't dislike him, I don't know, there's something about him. But he was fine in the movie and didn't distract me from anything. This movie is great. It's quite violent at times, the tone, it's kind of, the weird thing is the tone kind of switches. It kind of gets weird and silly at times, like the director, I just wanted to put too much of flair on it, and so that it lost a few points for me on there. But overall, the story was simple, and Michael Fassbender just crushes it. So overall, to me, Slow West gets an 8 out of 10, and it's currently on Amazon Prime right now, so if you've got that, I would highly recommend checking that out. And then lastly is, I won't go too much into this one, because I just watched Southpaw again in the theaters, and I think it's in its like 5th week in a row, which was kind of surprising, because in the theater I saw it was quite packed. But you can find my review on the website right now. Just go check that out. And I gave it a 7 out of 10 initially. I'm going to stick with that. A couple of things I noticed while watching it for a second time were a little worse than I remember, but then there were some things that I didn't remember being quite so good. But the performances by Jake Gyllenhaal, Forrest Whitaker, and Una Lawrence, who plays Jake Gyllenhaal's daughter, is absolutely outstanding. For that reason alone, you see this movie, and it really gets your adrenaline pumping, and it's hard to watch at times. It's a pretty emotional movie, which is what was cool today in the theater, is when I watched it, is you could hear it, the effect it had on some people, and it was kind of hard for them to watch at times, which is always a fun experience when you're in a group of people who really gets into a movie. Well, there you have it, guys. That would be our very first Rewind review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe you go out and watch these movies, or you enjoyed my opinion on them, and how maybe they match up with your own. Jump in the comments, let me know if you're going to be seeing any of these movies now, or if you've already seen them and what you think. And I will be trying to post these Rewind reviews about every Monday or so, and keep looking for the tweets, because I'm going to tweet out the movies as well, and that's how you maybe will know the video's up. Might be a little hard next week as it's Labor Day, so I'll try to get it up either Monday or Tuesday. I'll make sure I get it up, but look forward to each Monday. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, follow us on Twitter at AC Movie Chats, buy our gear on Redbubble, and until next time, I'm Dean Thomas, and thanks for watching.